good late afternoon. This is Hound Dog Steve, and many of you have asked for me to do another garden video, and I'm actually a bit embarrassed because the garden is just struggling. We have had such a dry summer. It's been absolutely unbelievable. Anyway, I hope this video finds you well, and welcome back to my channel, and a big shout out to any new viewers. And if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment and subscribe below, and let's go for a little walk around the garden. So I wanted to start at the front of the house because, as you can see, everything is just wilting. The grass is bleached white. Now, not everything is wilting. It's interesting that the indigenous plants, like the daylilies, they are doing just fine. The hollyhocks are doing just fine. These are black currants. They're looking pretty healthy too. The hydrangea is just starting to show signs of drought. The mullein is doing just fine too. He's getting ready to open these buds up, and it will not be long before that will be yellow with flower. But it is interesting, like I say, these indigenous plants, or what we would call weeds, seem to be doing just fine in this dry weather. All the wood is now stacked away, getting ready for winter, and because of this dry weather, you can see the cracks in the wood. That shows that it's seasoning nicely. Now all of the garlic is now in and drying. Yeah, that has been my weekend chore, taking my kitchen apart. God, I am glad to get rid of that old junk. It was the last part of my house to get renovated, and boy oh boy, I'm not sorry to see the back of this horrible, cheap cupboards. So now basically I am watering every day. You can see the lettuce is now flowering out as a prelude to seed, and I will be saving those seeds. I really like this lettuce. It was full, but a good sandwich lettuce. Now, as you can see, the tomatoes are going absolutely crazy, and you can see we're just starting to get the first ripening tomatoes. These are the ones I'm waiting for. These are beefsteak tomatoes. Oh my God. But you can just see there are literally dozens of tomatoes in there. Tomatoes just love the heat. And of course the pepper plants have now exploded. But as I say, we have the perfect combination for peppers and tomatoes, and that is heat and moisture. Of course, I've been eating the beets. This was my first crop of beets, and as soon as they're out, I will actually, I think I may replant some lettuce in here. I think I can get another crop of lettuce out of the season yet. These are a yellow wax bean, and I just picked the whole bunch for some friends. But this, as you can see, is a heavy producing bush bean. They're an excellent bean. They are not stringy at all, because I don't like stringy beans. Anyway, I am just filling my face with beans and beets and beet greens right now. Now you can see the potatoes are finishing off. This is pretty normal this time of year. We're just gone into the August long weekend, and but these were never watered, and you can see that the wood underneath these gardens have really held the moisture, and so as I say, they were never watered, and yet the potatoes I've dug up, every plant has got maybe 2, 3 or 4 pounds of potatoes underneath there, at least 2 or 3 good meals. Same with the onions. I've never watered the onions, and yet they're finishing off now. This is actually a great time in the garden because not a whole heck of a lot of work to be done. It's so dry, the weeds are not coming on, and most of the stuff you just kind of watch it grow. Now you can see how many flowers there are on the Scotch thistle, and in the daytime you should see the bee traffic that these flowers get. But yeah, the lilacs are suffering, but again the daylilies. See, I haven't watered these plants, and yet I'm watering this cherry tree and the raspberry bushes just about every other day now. Same with the sunflowers, I haven't watered those, and you can see they send those roots down into where the wood is, where the moisture is, and they get more than enough moisture. Now they're just getting ready to flower out. Now here's another plant that I haven't watered. This is the morning glories. I have morning glories here, and even when I redid the raised bed, the seeds survived, and this is what came up. But I haven't watered them, and they are going crazy. Anyway, they'll be flowering out very shortly. Now this is what your kale looks like after a groundhog has been through it. I have had a groundhog in my garden, I didn't realise, and boy oh boy can that thing chew through food. First it went through the remaining lettuce, didn't take the ones that were going to seed, but the other ones that were still growing, oh man. Anyway, I put diatomaceous soil on there, and that seems to have stopped the problem. Now interestingly, didn't get into the carrots. There you go, sunflower just coming out. Again, no water. It's amazing how some things survive and flourish and others don't. But yeah, the peas are absolutely done. I'll be picking those and shelling them for seeds. Be keeping the best ones, and the others will go into a soup. Wow, look at those stinging nettles. The dill is going to seed. Cilantro is going to seed. And you can see when these are done, you can just cut these off. And what I do is I get some sheets of newspaper and just knock all those seeds off, and then you shake them around and blow the chaff off, and there you go, you've got your next crop of cilantro. And the same thing with the dill. Now this is my second planting of beets, and you can see with the watering it's looking nice and green. I'm eating these greens just about every other day now. And you know, a great way to prepare beet greens, I just pick the leaves, I will cut that large centre vein out there, and you basically just blanch them for maybe 2 or 3 minutes in boiling water, drain them, add some butter, squeeze some lemon juice on or some cider vinegar, and oh my god, you are in for a taste treat. Turnips doing well. I'll be eating those in the fall. I've been trying to put in things that store well, that you can or pickle. And as I said, it goes back to the food part of your survival. Don't grow food that you're not going to eat. Even the raspberries are struggling a bit. But man oh man, I've been eating maybe 2 or 3 bowls of raspberries every single day off these plants. They're just coming to the end of their season. But I love raspberries, and you know, raspberries like this, growing wild and organic, they produce their own fungicide. And when you spray them with pesticides and fungicides and so on and so forth, they actually stop doing that for themselves. Now this fungicide that they produce is an anti-cancer supplement. So eat as many wild berries as you can. Just pick them right off the plants and eat them as they are. And as long as they're not sprayed, Who cares if a fly has walked over them or goodness knows what? This is how we were meant to eat. We're browsers. We are omnivores and we are browsers. This is what kept us healthy in the past, and this is how I eat my food. I eat way more food just picking as I go along than I do almost cooked. Anyway, that is the garden. Pretty sad looking. Anyway, it has made me really want to get on top of some other options that I have for watering. My barrels are about 3/4 full, but my main one over there by the garage, it's down to about 1/3 full. Yes, we definitely need some rain. It has been unbelievably dry. We have been pretty much 8 weeks now without any significant rain. We had one short rainfall that went on for about 45 minutes. We got probably a half an inch of rain. Other than that, it's been a couple of drops here and a couple of drops there as sort of stray clouds have wandered across the sky. But they are forecasting 3 days of rain, but there's no more than 5 or 6 millimeters coming down, or a little less than a half an inch, about a 1/4 inch. If we get all that they're predicting, it will be about 10 millimeters. That's about half an inch. So this is the project which is now going to get top priority. This is the old well down here. I got a backhoe in. We didn't go down far enough. I've got to go down about another 3 or 4 feet, and then I think I'm going to hit the water. It's only about 5 or 6 feet down apparently, but if I can recommission this well and pump this water into my barrels and my storage area, then I won't have to worry about droughts anymore. The reason I haven't watered my entire garden is because I just don't have enough water to do that. But if I had a well running and I could top up all of these water barrels when I felt like it, yes, I could have a sprinkler going on the entire garden. So this is going to be a priority. So here we are. This is Climate Change 101. And I think this is one of the big things that's missing out of this debate, is that, you know, it doesn't matter whether it is warming or cooling. And in fact, I'm going to link a documentary below called Little Ice Age Big Chill, and it goes through the 400 years of the Little Ice Age, when there were warmer periods and cooler periods, but you get an idea of what it looks like on the ground as we're going to go through the grand solar minimum, which looks like it's going to go on to somewhere between 2030 to 2050. Now, basically what's going to happen, just to cut a long story short, the weather is going to be absolutely unpredictable. You will not know what each season is going to bring, and everywhere will be different. The weather is going to be completely localized, so you have to analyze the weather in your particular area and try to spot some trends. The Earth Wind Map, Null School, that actually I'll put a link for that below also in the description, and it's amazing how well you can predict the weather and follow some of the larger patterns that are going on with the weather system. You can look at the Gulf Stream, you can see the warming or the cooling of the ocean, and it will give you kind of some idea what could be coming down the track. But as I say, weather is going to become very, very localized, but every season, and this is one thing that they say continually in the documentary of Little Ice Age Big Chill, is that the weather was just completely unpredictable. You didn't know whether spring was going to be wet, dry, hot, cold, and of course, you know, part of this bigger picture is with the sun slowing down, we have an increase in cosmic rays. And again, I will link another video down below called The Great Cloud Mystery by Dr. Heinrich Svenmark, and he explains the relationship between solar rays, cosmic rays, and increasing cloud, rain, earthquakes, and volcanic activity, and how they're all connected. And of course, there was a year in the Little Ice Age where 2 or 3 extremely large volcanoes went off, and they called it the year without a summer. And basically in some areas of the world that are usually quite temperate had snow on the ground up until the end of July and into August. Okay, and that would be a growing season that just would not happen. You can already see, I'm sure, everyone is seeing the cost of vegetables either not available or the cost is becoming extreme. And so you need to be able to supplement a little bit, to have vegetables that you can store over winter time, learn how to sprout for your greens in the winter time. You can do this even in a very low light area. You can do sprouts, and they will give you a lot of nutrients and minerals and antioxidants that you would normally get by eating fresh vegetables out of the garden. And that, of course, is one of the beauties of seeds like peas, like beans, is that not only can you eat them whilst they're green and living, but they pack a punch when they're dried too. They seal in an awful lot of protein and energy. So these are things that I think that you may want to take a look at, try to make part of your regime, and I'm hoping that the price of food in the store is incentivizing you, because we're not going back, my friends. This is it. We are not going back. The weather is going to change more and more and become more and more unpredictable. And personally, I think that that's the big problem with the global warming narrative, is it misses out all of these little details, all of these little things that are going to happen on the ground to make life pretty miserable for farmers, especially large-scale farmers. This is a huge issue. Large-scale farming is going to be in big trouble because you will not be able to cover it. You need to be in a situation where you can get a weather report overnight of a frost warning or a heavy rain warning, where you can get out there and you can stake your garden, you can cover it with hay and straw in the case of frost. So at least with a smaller operation you can prepare a little bit. But if you're basically farming a section, 300 acres of corn, you ain't getting out there to protect it from hail. So things moving forward are going to continue to be tenuous, and I would suggest, as I say, that you think very, very carefully of how you can grow some of your own food to offset not just the price, but there will be arguments. When food starts to run short at the supermarkets, you are going to see frustrated people, especially if they have a young family to feed. These are not good times. I've seen food riots, and they are not fun. And so if you can avoid that by having a little bit set aside, a little bit of preparation done, you'll be sitting pretty. So on that note, if you've enjoyed this video, please like, comment and subscribe below. And in the meantime, this is Hound Dog Steve signing off, wishing you a great evening and a wonderful week coming up. We'll talk to you very, very shortly. You take care now. See ya. Bye.